Yes. Commissioner Fellers.
Present.
Commissioner Fischetti.
Here.
Commissioner Hackler. Commissioner Hughes.
Here.
Commissioner Leeson.
Here.
Commissioner Long.
Here.
Commissioner Nichols.
Here.
Chairman Stewart.
Here.
Commissioner Watson.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum.
We don't have a quorum, we have a full house.
Full house.
Well, I mean, this must be an unbelievable cake we have tonight. Full of controversy, tumult, chaos, all the things. All right, everyone have a chance to review the minutes from February 23rd.
Here's some love. Take a little bit of it home with you.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 3, new business. Mr. Rickard.
Yes, Commission, before you tonight, you have a request for a special use permit to construct an 8-foot tall fence in an R1 residential zone. The property is located on Ryan Court. This evening was set as a public hearing to consider this case. The applicant's here if you have any questions of them.
Okay. All right, well then, in regard to case number 23-03-SUP, public hearing for the consideration of a request for a special use permit for an 8-foot fence at 1750 Ryan Court. I will hereby open the public hearing. Anybody wishing to present concerns, support, or disagreement, now is your time to come forward. Not a lot of anxious volunteers. Okay, with that, we will close the public hearing. Next item, discussion by the Planning Commission. Questions, concerns?
As I read this, it sounds like it's only one side of the yard that's gonna have the 8-foot fence and the rest will just be 6, is that
The rear.
the
The
rear?
rear yard, yes.
The east side, that would be the east side of the property?
Kind of like the northeast.
Northeast, okay. Is this an above-ground pool?
It exists today, so it was elevated, and the pool does.
Okay,
And so the applicant just wants a taller fence for privacy purposes.
on one side only.
Are they just doing the backyard, or is it gonna come all the way up to the corner?
The fence is already there on the corner. It's a 6-foot fence that was built last
It's
summer.
on a retaining wall, so it's up, it already sits higher. I don't know, should I go up there? Or am I?
Please, yes. You'd
Okay,
state
so-
your name and address for the record, please.
My name's Casey McGraw, and my address is 1750 Ryan Court, and I am the applicant. So we put an in-ground pool in. You painted our house, so you know exactly where it's at.
Oh, wasn't
so-
there, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So on the east side of our property, to make the fence sit up taller for safety reasons, we did like a retaining wall, so the actual fence sits on a little bit of concrete, and then it tapers down. So where our back fence is now, our fence on the east side is like this, but our back fence is lower. So since our property sits up higher, since putting in the pool, it raises a safety concern just because it almost like, my dad is 6'2", and he looks like he could step over the back fence now. So it's a safety and aesthetic issue, just so that the two fences could match up. So it doesn't look so inviting to kind of just go over the back fence.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any other questions about it?
Are you familiar with your neighbor at 1751 East Candace, just behind you?
I do know them, and my husband has discussed the project with them. He actually talked to him on the phone just this week, and he had a couple of questions for him. One of their main concerns was if we were going to move the fence up or if we were going to continue sharing the fence. And we plan to just be neighborly and leave the fence right where it's at, but give us both the height. Because right now, we're just staring directly at each other when you come out our door. If you see I attached some pictures, I'm not sure if you have them or not, but I think when my husband talked to Don, it would benefit us both to have the extra footage, because they're experiencing a glare, I guess, off of something, and so, I think that the height would also help that, and we're planning to take on the cost of the fence all by ourselves, and they would just benefit from it. So I'm not super familiar with them, I'm neighborly, and we've kept them kind of in the loop and tried to answer any questions that they have.
Okay.
So Casey, you're replacing the fence, you're not adding on the top of it, you're gonna
No,
take
we're
it
good.
down and put
We're
up a
gonna
new
be
one.
lucky if the fence makes it through the windy season, like if the storm's coming up. It definitely needs all replaced, it would be brand new, and, it would just look like our other fence.
Okay.
For the record, I did talk to the property owner behind them, and after speaking to the applicant, they had no issues at all with the proposed fence.
Okay. Mr. Rickard, were there any other letters of inquiry? Obviously, notification went out because we have a public hearing, so.
There was
I
a
trust that
phone
was
call,
handled.
and it was just, I don't understand what is this process for, what's going on.
Okay.
So just explain, and they had no issue with it, no impact to them.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. If there's nothing further, I would entertain a motion.
I move to recommend approval of case number 23-03-SUP, a request by Andrew and Casey McGraw for a special use permit to allow a fence up to 8 feet in height on the property located at 1750 Ryan Court for the reasons set forth in the staff recommendation and heard at this public hearing.
We have a motion, we have multiple seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in, we probably better take a roll call vote on this if you don't mind, Mr. Rickard.
Yep, Commissioner Fellows,
Yes.
Commissioner Fischetti,
Yes.
Commissioner Hagler,
Yes?
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Leeson,
Yes.
Commissioner Long,
Yes.
Commissioner Nichols,
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart,
Yes?
Commissioner Watson. Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item 4, are you able to inform the applicant the date this might appear before the city commission?
Yes, it would be the third Monday in April.
April 17th.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Item 4, old business. Mr. Rickard?
We have none.
I agree. Item 5, staff items.
Yep, upcoming 2 rezoning cases, so be on the lookout for those. We'll be discussing sign regulations, and we will also be discussing the downtown master plan.
Okay,
That date is,
That will be the third Thursday in April.
okay. Yes, it would be.
all right then. No other items on our agenda other than adjournment, so I would entertain a motion for adjournment. Okay? This is, this might be unprecedented territory, so bear with us if you would, please.
My name is Linda Fischetti. I live at 400 South Summit here in El Dorado. I went to the engineering department back in August of '22. I asked for a permit to put up a privacy fence on my yard. And Jay told me I couldn't, because I can't have it where my chain link fence goes at this time. And he gave me these two, an aerial and what your ruling is. And so I went to the city commission and the mayor, and some of them didn't see a problem with it, but they felt I should come to you guys. So I went back to the engineering department to ask to be on the agenda in September. They said it was too late, I couldn't be on that agenda. I asked about being on October. He said they wouldn't be having a meeting in October. He said they probably wouldn't have, and this is from Scott, they probably wouldn't have a meeting till January. A meeting never came up in January that I know of. And in February, I did come here, but I had been on a company trip for 3 days. I'd gotten in late the night before. And so I didn't stick around. It looked like you had a lot of people talking that night. And I thought, I'll just call Scott the next morning and see if he could put me on the agenda for this month. And then I got this voicemail. If you'd like to hear the voicemail, it's from his, I guess, the receptionist. I'm not for sure her title. And he basically said that he'd already talked to commissioners, I guess behind closed doors, I don't know. And they have no interest in me changing the regulations. So I had to write this letter. Here's my letter. I gave it this past week, or this week. And basically said, I wasn't asking you guys to change any regulations. I just want to put my fence up where my fence already exists, which is a chain link fence. I just want a privacy fence. So that's why I'm here, and otherwise I don't care to be here.
Okay.
And so I don't know why I can't ever be on the agenda. I even asked the receptionist, I said, well, how many people need to be on the agenda, you know, to have a meeting?
Sure.
And she said one person, but for some reason, no one said I couldn't until this voicemail came out.
Sure. Well, let me talk through our role and talk through the role of the engineering department, planning and zoning. We are not an enforcement body. Staff puts together cases, et cetera, from applications, and we are an advisory group that reviews those cases as the city presents them to us, and make recommendation for the city commission ultimately to confirm. So we're not necessarily an enforcement group. There is a board of zoning appeals, but I guess my question is, have you made a formal application?
No, Jay would not give me a formal application. And I did notice this week, there's some applications laying there, but there never was before when I've been to the
Okay.
engineering department. And I guess you guys can make decisions behind closed doors, and I even brought pictures of my yard. I even diagrammed kind of how many feet would be taken away, where he thinks I need to put the fencing right across from my house, and it's because of the way my house faces.
Mm-hmm.
My backyard is to the side of the house, but I have another picture of a house here in town that has that exact same kind of yard. They're on a corner, and their yard is to the side of the house, and they seem to be able to have a privacy fence.
Well, and all I can tell you is that we're neither an enforcement arm or an appeals arm.
I just
so.
asked for you
Sure.
all to look at my yard, look at how the fence is right now. You know, I'm just asking for the fence to be on my property. I'm not asking it, I mean, I've seen some fences just driving around town, maybe 30 minutes, that are clear up to the sidewalk. And it's not that way at my house. It's not, the fence is not on the corner. It's not taking view away from the traffic or anything. I don't understand why I could never be on the agenda. And when the mayor himself asked for me to come to you guys and present it.
So, Ms. Shetty, April 1st, the city commission meets. You can get on there and do public comments, or ask to be on there with the city clerk. The last time you came and talked to the city commission, what they do is they consider public input and then discuss it at a work session. And there wasn't a desire to send anything back to the planning commission to look at changing our regulations.
I didn't ask that, did I?
So there is not an avenue that allows a variance in your case. There's not an
Then why do
avenue.
other people?
Because,
Oh, now you're gonna tell me they grandfathered them in. No, I can tell how new a fence is. I'm not maybe a construction worker, but, you
state
know.
law is very specific on what municipalities can allow variances on. And that is, Fences are not one of the things that's a variance allowed on in the city of El Dorado. So to get some action, because I as staff can't go, yes, you're permitted, I understand your condition, because it doesn't meet our regs. These gentlemen can't change anything either. So I'd suggest go back April 1st to the city commission and say, I understand you didn't want to proceed with looking into this. I'm still concerned, I still want to have my fence. If they so deem it that they want to look at changing those regulations, they will make a motion to send it to these gentlemen, to which we will discuss how it affects every property in the city. And then they would make a recommendation if we change our zoning regulations.
Did
And then we go
I
back to
ask
city
you to
commission.
change the zoning regulations? No, I did not. I said, this is my backyard is to the side of the house. You guys are saying this fence is in the front yard.
Right.
It's not in, as far as I'm concerned, the front yard is where the porch is where my front door is. And you would not even allow me to, when the mayor, I already presented it to the city and the mayor, and they asked me to go get on, come to this meeting, go get on the agenda. I went to you guys, and you won't even let me fill out a form to be on the agenda. And this has been months. I mean, I asked way back in August, and you acted like I couldn't be on this, you even said I couldn't be on the September.
I don't make those decisions, the city commission makes
That you
them.
don't make the decision to hand me a form to fill out to be on the
I can't-
agenda? I don't understand that.
Can we?
No,
there's
you know,
nothing
you
these
said
gentlemen
you
can-
weren't having a meeting in October. I didn't know it only took one person to have a meeting until
It
this
take-
past
it takes-
month.
It takes 5 to have a meeting of this.
What was here today? One person was
No,
on your agenda.
You're confusing applicants with
Well,
quorum.
is that what I need to fill out, an application to be on the agenda? Or do I just ask you, can I be on your agenda for the meeting the next month?
Well,
These guys need recommendations.
yeah,
of what
it
the-
would take an application.
It takes, there, now you said it was an application.
And I don't know if your circumstance is eligible for an application or not.
It is, the city commission, to allow what Mrs. Fischetti wants to do, would have to change the adopted ordinance of your zoning regulations when it comes to fence. She lives on a corner lot. Corner lots have 2 front yard setbacks. There's an existing chain link fence that was within that front yard setback that's allowed to exist as long as it wants to exist. There's a desire to put a 6-foot privacy fence up. It then triggers, it has to move back to meet the current regulations.
Which is not allowed in the front yard.
It's not the, see, you don't even want me to be here. It's not the front
That-
yard.
I can assure you that's not the case,
It's
ma'am.
not the front yard. The front yard is in front of the house.
Do you live at an intersection?
Yes, but I'm not talking about the corner. And I'm telling you, there's another house almost exactly like this in the city that has a privacy fence on the side of their house. And that's all I was asking is where my chain link fence, if I even came straight out from my house, you're taking 20, and I just paste this off, so it's approximate.
Sure.
It's like 26 feet. I'm not even asking, to go beyond my, I'm not asking you to go beyond my
So,
property
I
line.
watched the meeting, I watched all the meetings, I heard you speak, but
At the commission,
at the commission.
back in
meeting,
August.
I watched the meeting, I'm just telling you, it's my opinion that we don't have the power to help you. You talk to the city commissioners, and I agree with Mr. Rickard, is you gotta get them to talk about it in the work session, decide if they want to change it, and then they can bring it to us. We don't have that power to help you, am I right?
Then why would the mayor ask me to go to you guys?
Maybe you misunderstood him.
No, I did not.
So, but regardless, unless I'm told wrong, we don't have the power to help you. You can go back and get on the agenda. What I would do is call Tabitha Sharp and tell her you want on the agenda because you want to make an appearance. You can get up and have your 3 minutes. But if you call Tabitha Sharp, she can definitely have you on. They will call, they will know what you're going to be there for. I'm sympathetic to you. I'm sure you're absolutely right. There are other places that have that.
Yes, and it doesn't block a view. It does not block
What
a
I'm
view.
saying is, we can't help you tonight.
I'm just saying.
You're not elected people.
This is not what I was told. I was told to come to the city commissioners, or the planning and zoning. I went down there to try to get on the agenda since last August, well, actually September.
And I'd be happy to meet with you, I'd be happy to.
Really, Rick, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
but
and go
I
through this
did meet
again.
with you one day, and we lined it all out
Right.
on a
And I did a
whiteboard,
drawing for you, yeah. And
and you're just negative towards me.
I am not a negative person. I don't have the
So,
authority to.
Mr. Judge, go back to the video. I don't recall it word for word, but I definitely saw you talk. I heard them discuss it, and I heard you talk about there's other places. I heard Commissioner Wilkinson
And the one-
sympathetic to you, and I get it, but I'm going to come back to, we've heard you, but we can't help you. We are not elected individuals.
But you're the planning and zoning.
They're an advisory board.
We're an
The
advisory
ultimate-
board.
ultimate-
We advise them, we advise the commission whether we think it fits or not. But that does not give you permission to do it just because we say
And
so.
it's all based upon that book that
Yes.
But
Chairman Stewart has.
you just said you advised.
Yeah.
Based upon that.
Based upon this book and based upon what we're asked to advise upon. This information you see is all prepared and given to us. It's not, we don't get this from ground zero. It's something that's presented to us to advise on and make judgments on for this. Until it's deemed that we're to look at your case and advise on it. And even if we do advise on it, it doesn't mean that you have permission. It's got to get passed through the elected city commission before you actually have the permission to do this. This lady tonight, we just voted for her. She still can't do what she asked to do until the elected city commissioners say that
But
she can
you
do it.
voted on it.
And they
You
could,
voted
Voted for
right, but they
recommendation,
could say
and
no.
The city commission could say, nope, we're not gonna go with that. They have the final say.
Well, I never said they didn't have the final say, and I think that's what the mayor was saying. He just wanted me to present it to you guys, and you never would allow me to present it.
They've got to present it to us first.
The path,
They have to present it to us first.
the path to move this forward is get on the city commission agenda, ask them to reconsider. If they reconsider, then they will make a motion in a public meeting that says, we are requesting the planning commission look into fencing regulations, specifically corner lot or intersecting street, whatever it may be. And then we schedule the next meeting of these folks. And we open up that regulation, read through it, talk about it, say, here's the concern we heard from the property owner. And they are tasked with considering how that affects every property in town, just not your property. Because the minute something's changed, then it affects everyone. So they have to think about it. They would make a motion to recommend approval or denial, and then that goes to the city commission, who then votes to change the ordinances, so the laws of the city.
So you do have them tell you, I want to be on the agenda.
Like I said last time, they spoke about it, and there wasn't a desire to make a motion to send it back.
When did you speak with them?
It would have been in August or September, after you came and made public comment.
Well, you never even said that until I got this voicemail. This past, 3 weeks? Then I could even let them listen to the voicemail that your receptionist or whatever her title is left. And it said, you had discussed it with the commissioners, and you had no desire to change the regulations, and I
It's not
said,
my desire. So, I mean, I don't make that choice.
I just think,
I'm just here to, I'm an administrator of these individuals in the city commission.
What are the rules on special use permits? Because it seems like we can get a special use permit for anything.
The special use permits for very specific things.
I mean, I've seen them for property extensions, garages, fences.
Fences, taller fences.
Yeah, it seems like all sorts of stuff, so.
Bigger shop sheds, a special use isn't allowed to go into a side yard setback.
Yeah.
City commission could say, you know what, that may be a good idea, maybe we allow this by special use. Recommend that to you all.
So can you not give her a special use
I cannot.
application?
There's no avenue to get awarded us, or get a
There-
special use.
There are specific sections in this
So
book
can you add,
that address
can you
how-
talk to the city commission to add a special use exemption to that rule, to where it would then be advised to us?
They
If
could.
somebody wanted to do something of this nature,
That-
that would be where you're not opening it up to everybody in the town, you're opening it up to special uses that could come to us.
Well, and the provision there is really what I think I understand this to be wrapped up in is the fact that the current ordinances don't allow for a special use application, don't allow for a variance application. The request is not in conformance with these ordinances, and these ordinances specifically prohibit a special use
She needs to
consideration.
talk to the city commission about getting a special use
It,
provision added to
it would have to start there in order to go through engineering department, to come to us, to review, consider adjustments, make recommendation.
Because we're looking into changing sign regulations here in a week or two.
Yeah, and that was something they wanted to do,
Mhm.
the city commission. So, you know what? That sounds like something we need to look into.
You know, I've seen the letters and tickets going out to people for having signs.
Sure.
So basically, if the avenue is presented the way I understand it, if Mrs. Fischetti gets on the agenda for the next commissioner meeting, if they decide, okay, we see it, we change our mind, whatever, they will do like normal and they'll send an agenda item to us. But they also possibly, probably more than 50-50, might say, no, we're not willing to change the ordinance, we're just not moving forward. And if they don't send anything to us after that point, it's out of our hands, we don't have any.
We're not a legislative body,
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
All right. I would still entertain a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
So moved and so moved. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you.